Hello folks, my name is Rich Keener. I'm the Village Manager for the Village of Villa Park. And today's one of my segments where I'll be talking about an upcoming board meeting and its formal agenda. So today folks, I'll be talking about the Monday, December 2nd board meeting. So on Monday, December 2nd, we're going to have a public hearing at 6:45 here in Village Hall just before the board meeting. And that public hearing will be to accept comments on the fiscal year 2020 budget. And that budget starts on January 1st, 2020 and terminates December 31st, 2020. And so we'll have a very short public hearing to accept comments, and then we'll move right into the board agenda for that evening. So folks, let's start. So 6:45, we'll have the public hearing, and then 7 o'clock, we'll start with the formal agenda for that evening. And let's start. So number one on the agenda is the call to order, the roll call. Number two is the Pledge of Allegiance. Number three is public comments on agenda items. And folks, that's the appropriate time for anyone in the audience to come to the podium and comment on items that are on the formal agenda that evening. Number four is amendments to the agenda. And folks, that's the appropriate time for the village president or board of trustees to modify or revise the formal agenda for that evening. And number five for Monday night is a discussion. And the background for this particular item is as follows. So there's a request for a liquor license at 302 East St. Charles Road. In November of 2017 and again in June of 2019, the village board awarded a Class B liquor license to the owner of 302 East St. Charles Road for the establishment of the Beverage Hub. These licenses expired due to inactivity. Now the owners have changed their business plan, name of the proposed establishment to Select Liquors, and are appealing for a new liquor license. So folks, what I've just read is pretty much on target, pretty concise. So the Beverage Hub never opened, had two liquor licenses. Well, one expired and then it was granted again, and then expired due to inactivity. And now they have changed their name to Select Liquors, have a different business plan, and have some remodeling that's been complete. And so now they're going to be appealing to the board again Monday night, December 2nd, to have a liquor license. And so this is discussion only. And then if the board says yes, we'll grant you a liquor license, and then we'll bring it back at a future meeting to approve the request for a liquor license. So moving on for Monday night, December 2nd, is 6, consent agenda. We have 6A, which is minutes from the board meeting held on November 25th, 2019. 6B, bill listing for the week of November 25th, 2019, in the amount of $1,038,676.03. So moving on for Monday night, December 2nd, we have number 7, which is the first reading of ordinances to be codified. So we have 7A. We have a first reading of an ordinance adopting a budget for the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, for all corporate purposes in lieu of an annual appropriation ordinance for the fiscal year commencing on January 1st, 2020 and ending on December 31st, 2020. So folks, a little bit of background on this is that the village's calendar year 2020 budget ordinance provides for the continued provision of village services as well as significant capital investment as discussed during the village's budget presentation held at the November 25th, 2019 board meeting. The draft budget has been available for public inspection since November 11th at Village Hall and on the village's website. The budget covers the 12-month period from January 1st, 2020 through December 31st, 2020. This is the first reading of the budget ordinance with ordinance adoption planned for December 16th, 2019. So folks, we do this on an annual basis. I usually call this the budget process. So on November 25th, we presented the corporate budget water and sewer capital improvement projects to the board and answered any questions. And now we'll have a public meeting on the 2nd of December at 6:45, and then the first reading of the ordinance for adoption following that, and then the final reading of the ordinance for adoption of the budget on December 16th. And then we'll proceed to implement the budget on January 1st, 2020, if it's approved on the 16th. So moving on, for Monday night, December 2nd, we have 7B, which is the first reading of an ordinance levying taxes for the fiscal year of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, commencing on the first day of January 2019 and ending on the 31st day of December 2019. So the background for this item is that the 2019 tax levy process is well underway. The Library Board approved their levy on September 25th. The Village Board adopted a resolution estimating the tax levy on October 14, 2019, and several abatement ordinances were approved on November 11, 2019. The final version of this ordinance will be updated to reflect the rollover bonds. The total levy for the village and library is $12,314,665 and has been abated to $10,542,714, which is an increase of 2.3%. The final amount will likely be reduced by DuPage County due to tax caps. Majority of the levy is subject to the 1.9% tax cap plus new growth. So folks, just as a reminder though, in the state of Illinois, the taxes are paid in arrears, and that's why I mentioned that it's 2019 levy. So the taxes are paid in arrears and then they're collected to pay for ongoing services. So it's a little confusing. So moving on to 7C for Monday night, December 2nd. It's the first reading of an ordinance of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, amending the Villa Park Municipal Code. So the background on this particular item is that at the regular meeting of the Village Board held on October 28, 2019, the board voted to proceed with the necessary amendments to Village Code to accommodate changes to state laws that relates to the Cannabis Regulation and Tax Act. The ordinance being considered amends those sections of the Villa Park Municipal Code regulating cannabis which predate the Cannabis Regulations and Tax Acts, which will be set forth in Article 20, Chapter 13. So folks, what we're doing is we're modifying, revising Village Code. And so for this particular item, for Monday night, we'll be talking about deleting section in its entirety in the Village Code and replacing it with Section 16112 of Chapter 16, Article 1, which is restrictions and regulations regarding tobacco and drug paraphernalia. So we'll be defining tobacco products, then we'll be defining electronic cigarettes, and of course those two are kind of big topics going through our community right now. And then we'll talk about the effects for paraphernalia, accessories, and alternate nicotine products. So we're kind of going to clarify that Monday evening in code as it relates to the new Cannabis Act provided by the state of Illinois through its statutes. So moving on, for Monday night, December 2nd, we have number 8, which is the second reading on ordinances to be codified. So we have the second and final reading of an ordinance of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, amending the Villa Park Municipal Code relating to the use of cannabis. So the background for this item, folks, is at the regular meeting of the Village Board held on October 28, 2019, the board voted to proceed with the necessary amendments to Village Code to accommodate changes to state law as it relates to the Cannabis Regulation and Tax Act. The ordinance being considered modifies Villa Park Municipal Code to regulate the use of cannabis in Villa Park in accordance with state law. So folks, on Monday night under this item, we'll be changing our village code to really mirror state law. In other words, you will not be able to possess cannabis if you're under 21, and then if you're 21, you'll be able to possess 30 grams and things of that nature. So we'll be changing or modifying, if you will, our village code to mirror state statute. So moving on from Monday night, we have number 9 as a resolution. So we have a resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, approving a contract with DEM Services, Inc. of Addis, Illinois for asbestos abatement and management services at 631 East Wildwood Avenue in an amount not to exceed $29,700 and waiving the requirement of open and competitive bidding. So folks, the village owns the property located at 631 East Wildwood Avenue, and to assist with the sale of this property, the village is taking steps to remediate asbestos, which has been discovered in several areas of the building and must be remediated. The village solicited proposals from 10 companies and received 4 proposals for the abatement. The lowest apparent proposal was submitted by DEM Services, Inc. of Addison, Illinois, in the amount of $29,700. Funds for this expense would be taken from the Capital Outlay Fund of the St. Charles Road TIF, also known as TIF number 4, account number 2850201299. So folks, it's been some time since we've talked about 631 East Wildwood, but the village purchased this property to help with an economic development project on the South Villa Avenue area. So we're going to sell 631 East Wildwood in the very near future, and then we're going to have a business relocate to 631 East Wildwood from their business location on South Villa Avenue, and then we'll turn that area 100 and 110 South Villa Avenue into a parking lot, and should provide close to 180 parking spaces for that business district. So it's kind of a long process to buy a piece of property, then relocate a business there, and then make a parking lot. So we're moving forward with this project, and hopefully within the next few months we'll be done. So moving on for Monday night, December 2nd, is number 10, public comments on non-agenda items. And so folks, that's the appropriate time for anyone in the audience to come to the podium and have comments that are not related to the agenda. So number 11 is the village clerk's report. Number 12 is the village trustees report. Number 13 is the village president's report. Number 14 is my report, the village manager's report. Number 15 is executive closed session. And so pursuant to the general provisions of the Open Meetings Act, we have A, 5 ILCS 120-2C1, personnel matters. We have C2, collective bargaining matters. We have C5, purchase or lease of property. We have C6, sale or lease of property. We have C11, pending litigation. And we have C21, discussion of closed session minutes. And folks, we're not going to have any action items after executive session. So then we have 16, which is adjournment. And then our next meeting is December 16th. So the month of December, our board meetings are off a little bit due to the holidays. So we'll have December 2nd, a meeting, December 16th, and then in January, we'll come back on January 13th, so it'll be a little different for us. And so I hope you have a great holiday period. Thanksgiving's almost upon us, so I hope you enjoy the nice weather we're having and enjoy some time with your family. And we'll see you Monday night, December 2nd. Take care.